Hey guys, this is HD, welcome, and it's time for Game 2 between Mana and Lucky. What an amazing first game to start off this set. I recommend all of you guys to check it out. In fact, check out this entire tournament if you guys haven't seen it already. I'm casting from the round of 8 onwards, and it is for $20,000 total prize pool. Now, in the first game, we did have Lucky take that very nicely. What an absolutely epic 30-minute plus battle that was on GSL Daybreak. Now, the map for Game 2 of this set between these two titans is going to be on Shakuras Plateau. And I talk about this all the time. I always say, you know, Shakuras Plateau, guys, it is a pretty Protoss favored map. It's a great place where Protoss can just expand right away, wall it off, and then the middle battlefield can really go in the Protoss favor because it can kind of walk along the sides of the map. But then I just looked up the statistics. I just looked them up. And I found out that historically, over hundreds and hundreds of games in the competitive scene, it is actually ZerG that holds the favorite on this map at 51%. So I don't know how that happened. I scratched my head because all the pros I talk to will always say this is a great map for Protoss. But when you also think about it, there's also some people who advocate that ZerG also have an extremely easy time expanding on this map as well. Expanding here and then grabbing this one is pretty easy for ZerG to do. So it definitely makes a lot of sense that ZerG have an easy time getting into the macro phase, and maybe that is why they're able to so easily defeat Protoss players. Not that easily, I suppose. 51% is pretty much right on the mark, dead even. So it's going to be great to see who takes this second game. Remember, if Mana wins here, he will drive it into the third and final ace match, but if Lucky wins, it is completely over, and Lucky will join the ranks of Stefano and of Puma, excuse me, in the round of 4, which is the semifinals. So we'll just have to see what happens. Right now, we do have the merry-go-round going along with the drone and the probe. Once again, the battle of the scouting workers, and I don't really think that Lucky's going to be able to get that hatchery up. It's just a futile effort. So might as well just send the drone all the way over to the third now. But look at this. Mana now, wise to his tactics, is also going to bring the probe over to the third. I wonder if he's going to block this hatchery as well. What an absolute thorn in the side of the ZerG if he does this. And will he do it? Will he do it? He has enough for a pylon, but he's not going to invest into it yet because the probe still has plenty of shields left. And, oh, blocked once again. Man, this is going to be so annoying for the ZerG. He can't get a hatchery here. He can't get a hatchery here. He's floating over 400 minerals, now 500 minerals. And what an absolute huge delay for the ZerG. Another pylon goes up. And I am freaking out right now because I'm a ZerG player, and if you can't expand, you're almost forced to go all in. And what can he do now? Mana's about to finish up his Nexus at the natural, and Lucky has no hatchery as of yet. Finally now, can he get it? He will get it. Looks like those two drones were competing. One of them was like, I want to become the hatchery, and then the other one was like, no, I want to be the hatchery. So now this guy is going to go ahead and go over here. And we are going to have Lucky go into the late game, I guess, with 3 hatcheries total, but not before another pylon went up, the last dying breath of the probe before he went down, serving the Protoss's right, and finally that pylon will get deposed of. So, gosh, Lucky so far behind now in his build order. Has only 19 workers. He's actually under the Protoss right now, and you can bet that Mana is going to climb way ahead of the ZerG right now. I would actually anticipate us to see about 30 probes for Mana around the time that our ZerG player has about 24-25 drones. So I think at this point the Protoss is going to have a 5 probe lead over Lucky for quite a while in this game. And that's just because, unfortunately, Lucky doesn't have any hatcheries to make drones out of. He's only got 1, whereas these 2 are chrono boosting. So Mana just taking a huge lead in this game. You guys all know StarCraft 2 is it's a snowball game. You take those early advantages and you multiply on that. You expand on that. And it's like compounding interest, man. It just gets worse and worse and worse if you fall behind in this game in the beginning. So every little thing really does count. We finally have the hatchery now fully deployed and the drones beginning to mine out of the mineral fields. The third hatchery is on the way, but not quite done yet. And now finally Lucky can kind of close that gap. And looking at the income tab, yeah, he's been down by about 5 probes, 31 to 25 for a moment there, and now he's going to be able to finally try to pull ahead again. And we'll have to see what happens now. Both players have kind of settled down, we're out of that phase of the early game shenanigans, and we're now approaching the mid game, and a lot of that is dominated by the Protoss decisions here. What build order is he going to go for? Is he going to open with a Stargate? Is he going to go with the more standard 3-gate Robo? Maybe some kind of a 6-gate all-in? It really depends on what the Protoss does. It's the ball, I always say, is in the Protoss court. And is he going to go for the slam dunk, or is he going to go for a little bit of a dribble layup? We'll have to see. Right now, Lucky going to go ahead and pull back some of his Zerglings. Of course, his whole idea here right now is just to drone up. Get as many drones as possible, get a massive economy, and see where things go with mana. And it looks like a Zealot here will make its way in. No speed quite yet. Speed is extremely late. My goodness. That is one of the latest metabolic boost upgrades I've seen in a while. And I guess, I don't know, that's a little weird to me, because I would have thought that Lucky would have compensated by losing his hatcheries in the early game by getting a lot of early gas and trying to tech up and get some kind of a tech advantage, but he didn't. So his speed is somewhat late. His lair also about to finish. Oh, I see why his speed was so late. He decided to invest his first 100 gas into lair before speed, so that's a little interesting. And where is he going to go from here? He has a Roach Horn, so it looks like he's going to go with Roaches this game. Not going to go for that really cool style that I saw in the first match of this set. We all saw it. It was the Muta transition into Muta Baneling Infestor Broodlord. It's just like almost the entire tech tree except for Roaches, but it looks like this time Lucky is going to go for Roaches, and we'll have to see how effective that's going to be. Oh, Mana has a very fast Twilight Council with Blink being researched. Oh my god, he is going to do the 6-gate +2 weapons Stalker timing attack here, and +2 weapons is on the way. He's also going to get a robotics facility as well, just to be able to transition out of this, and he can even get observers to blink into the main as well. So this is a huge timing play, and unfortunately for Lucky, Roaches are not very good against Stalkers, especially Stalkers equipped with the ability to blink. Now, the nice thing, though, is Lucky has scouted that out. What a brilliant scout by him, but did he see the Twilight Council? I don't think so, and the Changeling did die too. So all he saw was the 6 gates, but he doesn't know what type of 6-gate this is. He doesn't know if it's a Blink Stalker 6-gate or just some other type of 6-gate. Now, he did see the Stalkers and Sentries moving out, so he should get a nice mixture of Roaches and Zerglings, and thankfully for him, speed is finishing up, and he's going to have Burrow too, which is really, really nice. He could actually go for some kind of an ambush play here. Burrow's going to finish in about 15 seconds, and if he could just pop up underneath the Stalkers and Sentries, that would totally, I mean, absolutely shut down this this timing attack from Mana. And will Mana go for the timing attack or not? I wonder why he's falling back now, deciding to blink over as well with some of his Stalkers. It's a very interesting movement by Mana. Usually this build is completely timed around making a huge devastating timing attack, but his +2 weapons haven't finished yet, so I guess that's why he's being a little bit late, and he's going to go ahead and take this time to expand to the 3rd, but no doubt he's going to make an attack very soon here. +2 weapons have finished, but this has given the Zerg time to get a huge number of Roaches out. There is an observer out there, so it doesn't look like Lucky will get lucky with some burrowed Roaches. It's very unlikely. But let's see if he makes an attack or not. What a weird game this is. Usually the Protoss would be making the attack right now, but Lucky has mustered up a huge force of Roaches and Zerglings, and there aren't enough Blink Stalkers on the field to deal with that. So Lucky moves in, picks off a pylon or something, but he does not realize that the Nexus is actually going down here, which is a little interesting. Usually Protosses will grab this location here. So right now Lucky must not really even know that the 3rd Nexus is on the way, and it is completely walled off, so those Roaches aren't going to be able to get in there very easily. And unfortunately for him, that was really a missed window. He should have actually checked down here for the Nexus, and he didn't do that. So now he doesn't have the opportunity to strike there any longer. These Stalkers are taking some damage from the Zerglings, but the Shift Q micro as all the Stalkers going up one at a time. Force Field's also going down on this ramp. So the Zerg army completely, basically rejected. That was the rejection hotline 101 right there, and it's going to get rejected down here at the 3rd as well. Very nice play by Mana, and he's got a couple pylons here, so he can warp in reinforcements all day long. I don't know what that pro thought he was. Apparently that was Rambo the pro, but he went down almost immediately. And these Roaches totally rejected, man. They are like a nerdy guy without a date right now, and how are they going to get up here? I don't even know. They can actually they can burrow underneath the force fields, but they can't get past the gateways. Oh my god, is there an opening there? There is somewhat of an opening there. The gateways were not completely sealing off the Roaches, and now the gateway's taking huge amounts of damage. This is big plays right here, absolute big plays by the Zerg. Is Lucky going to get in here and do the damage he needs to do with all these roaches? He's also transitioning into a Spire, so we're going to see the air bombardment pretty soon, but now the reinforcements coming out from Mana from the natural. He's got to save this Zerg Nexus. He's taken some damage so far, but nothing he can recover from. There's an Immortal on the field, and that Immortal is absolutely going to wreck these roaches. One kill so far, but really it's not the kills that count, it's the damage, the sheer damage it does to the roaches. And these roaches stand no chance, not a chance in hell against that Immortal Stalker combination. So now they're just going to try to eke out as much damage as possible, get as many probe kills. Right now 12 probes, excuse me, have gone down already. The Stalker's now blinking on top. And overall, I like how many probes he killed off. 18 workers. He also basically cut a huge hole in the middle of the Protoss gateway lines, and I really like what Lucky's done so far. He's really attacked rather than sat back, and a lot of Zergs will just sit back and let that Protoss become so unmanageable. But this is what Lucky's been doing so well at, is just trading his army and continually smashing his face, his hands, his fists against the body of Mana, and now he's inside the third once again. And how much damage is he going to be able to eke out this time? I don't know. Nice micro right there. Mana pulling his Stalkers black, now blinking the rest of them in. What great control that was, and he is going to get a big win here in the middle of the field as he picks off these roaches, continually microing his Stalkers, something that that a lot of Protoss players do, but can't do perfectly. It's very hard to do it right, and Mana just going to go ahead and blink aggressively forward once again, utilizing and really exploiting the mobility granted by these +2 Stalkers against the roaches, and he is going to absolutely drive those roaches back home. Big plays by Mana, but he is actually behind a lot in supply. For a second there was 100 under 163, so you can see the toll that all of this has taken on his overall game. The constant attacks of the third really setting him back in terms of supply overall, and Lucky has just been macroing like a beast, man. He's on the 4th base now. He's got tons of roaches on the field, pretty much maxed out right now. He's basically double the supply of Mana. This is an incredible game. I cannot believe how far ahead right now Lucky has pulled in supply, and things are looking quite grim for the Protoss player. But the one thing that he's got going for him is really Lucky hasn't went into Hive Tech yet. He's still on Roaches and Zerglings. He does have a Spire, so he could go into some kind of airplay, switch into Mutas or something like that, but the Roaches and Zerglings aren't going to be that great against Stalkers and Immortals, and Lucky, realizing that, just going to pull away, doesn't want to fight in unfavorable turns. But if he can get a good engagement here, that would be huge. Force Fields, of course, helping the Protoss shift and form the terrain in a way that he so pleases. And more forces continue to warp in. That pylon gets killed off, so that cancels off one of the Stalkers. And now the Roach is going to go ahead and engage, but I don't know if he has enough Roaches to power through these Stalkers. These Stalkers have 3 weapons, and the Immortals at the front finally going down, but the 3-weapon Stalkers absolutely going to push these Roaches away once again. Lucky has not been keeping up in tech. He's got to get more upgrades out. He's got to tech up to Hive. He's going for Hydras! Holy crap, he's going for a Hydraless Den, so that's going to be very interesting. And of course, Roaches and Hydras right now could be really, really good because there aren't any Colossus on the field. That's what really made Hydras completely obsolete in this matchup, is the Colossi. But without any robotic support tech at all in this game so far, an unusual turn of events really, I actually think Hydras would be a great switch right now, and Lucky obviously realizing that, whereas his Hydraless Den, it's right there, he's not really invested into the ranged upgrade yet. They're actually going to go into Infestors, so that could be another viable possibility, Roaches and Infestors. And what a absolute collision of armies here, back and forth matchup so far. Lucky once again maxed out almost at 189 supply. Mana not quite there yet. He's trying to muster up his army, but every time he gets close, he just has to trade his army against the Zerg, and that's not boding very well for the morale of his Protoss forces. And here we go. Lucky going in once again, but I don't agree with this engagement. He may be able to pick off the Immortal, and then he can fall back. That's not too shabby at all. Get out of there without losing too many of his Roaches is the name of the game now, but the Stalkers are advancing. They're pouncing on the Roaches. A couple of Zerglings flooding in here, but Lucky realizing he just can't keep up. He doesn't have enough raw Roaches on the field, and his upgrades are pretty pathetic right now. 0-1, he's about to finish 0-2. Stalkers realizing they have the advantage, gonna blink forward once again, but they are on the creep, and that's where the Roaches suddenly gain a bit of an advantage, and now Lucky gonna go ahead and drive that back, and it's like watching a tug of war between these two, endlessly going on and on and on and on. And even though Protoss is down by supply, he's ahead in tech, and that's really allowing him to win out these battles. We do have a Warp Prism that was on the way. There it is. So I guess Lucky now getting tired of the tug of war on the playground, and now is just going to go ahead and go around the back in the classroom and beat up his classmates. So we'll have to see if this is going to work or not. He's got 4 Zealots inside here. Keep in mind he can warp in additional units as well. This is certainly going to be a nice little play here if he can pull it off. That Warp Prism is on the way, and here comes Lucky once again. Really aggressive game by Lucky, and he's going to go ahead and try to trade into the Protoss army, but the Protoss army is in a fantastic position. They can even blink on the high ground to gain even more of a terrain advantage. More Force Woods coming down, locking some of the roaches in the front, and 1 or 2 of them are going to go down there. Even a photon cannon coming up, because Mana has realized this is not a position you usually get a photon cannon in, but he's realized that this is a point of attack here for the Zerg, so he built one anyways, and there's a fungal growth by Lucky, absolutely locking the Stalkers down, but the Stalkers are so large in number, I don't think Mana is going to lose this, and Mana blinks to the high ground, as I called it, in the natural. Beautiful plays, big plays, and he is going to surround the Roach army, meanwhile also dropping the Zealots off at the bottom right hand corner. He picks off that hatchery as the Roaches pop out, but the Roaches are a little bit too late to the party, and all of a sudden Mana is getting back in this game. I don't even think he was ever really behind, to be honest, and he was only behind in the supply count, really, but he wasn't behind in the tech, and now he is ahead, I think, in economy, because he just killed off the bottom right hatchery. He's expanding to the bottom left, so 1 base killed for 1 base gained, and that's essentially a 2 base advantage. And we'll have to see if this Warp Prism continues to do more of that, or if at all. There is no hive still for Lucky. He hasn't made use of the Spire tech at all. I think that is a mistake by him, and he's going to get this hatchery under attack as well. Zealots beginning to come out here. Will Mana deploy the Warp Prism and bring even more reinforcements or not? No, he will not. He is just going to go ahead and unload them and get him out of there. So kind of interesting right there. Maybe he just realized, hey, there's not that much minerals here. I'll go look for something a little bit more fresh. Maybe the hatchery down here in the bottom right can kill it again. Meanwhile, Lucky also controlling the center for now. He's got good creep spread, so he's able to do that. But for how long, we'll have to see. This is such a close game, I feel like. 200 supply to 155. Now the Colossus have joined the field. That is going to be a big, big turn of events for the Protoss. Mana has Colossus on the field right now, but it gets fungled. And now Lucky kills off the Colossus before it can escape to the high ground. What a play. And now the fungal growth continues to come down. Lucky has to keep these infestors alive. They have tons of energy, but a couple of them going down right there as Mana aggressively blinks forward. And he's got enough forces to crush the roaches. And there's a GG. There's a GG by the Zerg player. Unreal game by Mana. Mana was behind in supply in all counts, really, this entire game. But he actually won the battle. Overall, he won because he had better tech. I actually feel like maybe Lucky prematurely GG'd right there. I mean, he had plenty of minerals and gas. He had kept going at it for a while, but I guess he realized his tech was woefully behind. Oh, and he just lost a hatchery down here in the bottom right again. So, wow, what an absolutely refreshing game to see right there. And this is going to push it to the 3rd and final match. I hope you guys out there on YouTube have enjoyed this cast so far as much as I have. I'll see you guys in the next game. It's tied up at 1-1 apiece. Who's going to join the semifinals? Tune in to find out. This is HT, signing out.